Family, hi, welcome to another on your Children of the Church with your brother Joseph. So there's been back and forth, arguments concerning gender in the United States of America.
How are you?
I'm a cisgendered man.
What does cis mean?
So that means if you were born a woman, and therefore you still identify as a woman, so you're a cisgendered woman, I would say.
And that's because of my physical...
That's because
femaleness.
You identify with how you were born originally. Well, I assume you're a cisgendered
I'm not a cis anything,
if I may assume.
I'm not a cis anything.
Well,
I'm just a man.
Well, no, but you're a cisgendered man.
No, I'm not a cisgendered anything.
But hang on.
What does cis mean?
Well, that means that you were born the way that you identify
No,
now.
I'm just born a man.
But someone who transitioned.
Why are you insisting on calling me something I'm not?
Why can't I identify as a black lesbian? If I now identify as a black man, am I a black man?
Why are you conflating race with gender, Pierce?
I'm just asking you a question, Ernest.
That's intellectually dishonest.
If I identify...
That's intellectually dishonest.
Maybe, but it's a question you don't want to answer, isn't it? If self-identity is limitless...
Because
I'm
race
now
is not
a black
the same
man
as gender.
called Ernest.
Because race is not the same as gender.
Am I a black man if I say I'm a black man?
No.
So you don't
because race
respect
is not
my
the same as
rights
gender.
to identify as a black man, do you? Do you think it's ridiculous?
You can identify as a black man.
You don't respect my rights to identify as a black man. In fact, you think it's ridiculous, don't you, Ernest?
You could. Pierce, you could if you wanted to.
Would you respect me and refer to me as a black man?
No.
Very hilarious, And President Trump actually came out to say that there are only two genders that are recognized in the United States of America.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
And some of the reactions he has been receiving are not very pleasant.
As a trans person myself, thoughts of my rights in the future being, threatened is something that's scary. Yeah, I'm not excited for the next 4 years.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
Then, after midnight, he posted about the service on Truth Social.
He called Bishop Buddy a radical left hardline Trump hater, adding, quote, "She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology."
So that was President Trump's response to the woke bishop's, lecture. It wasn't a preaching, but she was actually trying to lecture him, and he said that she owes the general public an apology. All right. So a lot of people, I've been seeing your comments. You've been saying that, why is it that the church is, is praising a man like Donald Trump? Why is it that the church is praying for him? Why is it that the church is saying that he's a good president and the like? Well, I know that there are some certain areas, not this one, of course, but there are some certain areas that the church may not agree with Trump. It's not everything he says or does that the church actually agrees with, but there are certain key areas, especially that have to do with our faith, especially this thing of free speech. And I'll let you listen to what Pastor Chris had to say about Donald Trump.
We watch and pray. That's what we do. In 2 Corinthians chapter 10 from verse 3, I want to read that quickly to you. For though we walk in the flesh, in the physical body, we do not war after the flesh. Next verse. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Doesn't matter what strongholds they build, we can tear them down. All the strongholds that are built in nations, we've been tearing them down. I think it was earlier today I was listening to, I believe the introductory part of the Ellen 24's Chronicles of Prophecy, they had Klaus Schwab speaking there in his failed conference that's taken place. And there again, he was crying out against what he calls misinformation and disinformation. But they are the masters of misinformation and disinformation. And every time you hear those who cry against misinformation and disinformation, you're listening to dictators, tyrants. They hate free speech. They hate it. And as far as they're concerned, anything that's not coming from them is misinformation. Only their narrative must be accepted. And that is no longer acceptable. And that's one of the ways you know good leaders. You just, at the inauguration of President Trump, he said something. He says, free speech returns to America again.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple, just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech. And reclaim is a very important word in this case because they've taken it away.
Thank you, sir. This next item is a directive to the federal government ordering the restoration of freedom of speech and preventing government censorship of free speech going forward.
Good leaders don't fear other people talking. They let you talk. Because when you're done, they'll have something to say. But these ones don't want you to say anything because they're liars. They don't want you to respond. They want you to just shut up and do what they say. But no, the church of Jesus Christ is established upon the earth by the Spirit of truth. Make no mistakes about it. This is not your day. It's not a day for deception and liars. They cannot win. Because the Spirit that's been given to us prevails. All those lying tongues are cut off. They cannot win.
So you see, my family, that's why the church supports a person like Trump, you know. He ensures that people who fight the church, you know, all their plans, they don't succeed. You know, things to do with disallowing us from even preaching or talking about the Lord Jesus Christ, you know. So that is why when it comes to these people who don't like the the emergence of Donald Trump as the president again, as the 47th president, we don't have much to say to such people. The only thing that we have to say to them is this.
But it's unfortunate that we have Republicans going in for a few years. It's very unfortunate for you guys. Commiserations. Very sorry for the prayers we did. We'll do some for you.